This week on Arizona Illustrated, winter shelter for those in need.
It's a basic human need to have a place to lay your head and get a good night's sleep.
A universe of images.
People need to go out and experience this night sky culture.
The joy of snow on Mount Lemmon.
That was so awesome.
And the U of A Chimes.
Sorry, I'm not good at singing.
Welcome to Arizona Illustrated. I'm Tom McNamara. As we move further into winter, even our Sonoran desert surrenders to colder temperatures, sometimes freezing, crisp and refreshing for a short walk with the dog or between your car and the coffee shop. And in our heated homes, hardly noticeable. But imagine spending the night huddled under a bridge or a park bench or in a wash night after night. Yeah, we visited one place back in early January where winter shelter and a helping hand can be found.
While Tucson has enjoyed a warmer than average winter and more rain than expected, that is little comfort to those living without a home. Tucson's homeless are seen each day in parks, on street corners, and in public places, trying to stay warm, asking for help, and making their way. The last street count of homeless in Pima County put the number at almost 1,800 people. Those numbers miss people that can't be counted because, for whatever reason, they weren't found. Many of those were found, not on the street, but in shelters. This is the St. Francis Men's Shelter, housed at Sacred Heart Catholic Church in Midtown Tucson. During the day, a hot meal is prepared for guests to be served when everyone staying here tonight is checked in, has a blanket and a bunk.
We take in anybody, just about anybody, unless somebody's wielding on a gun or a knife, and that's what this place is about. We take in the people that fall through the cracks, people that aren't going to get into most of the other shelters. It's a basic human need to have a place to lay your head and get a good night's sleep. Last night we had a little bit over 50, which was the biggest night we've had so far.
Carl Zawatsky is the shelter director. He says there is a low bar for entry by design.
There's no ID checks. A lot of times you can't get into other places if you can't blow a zero on an alcohol tester. That's not the requirement here. We don't promote anything like that.
In case we get busy tonight, I could put at least 5 people in that hall over there.
But regardless, the guy needs a place to stay.
As night falls, men begin to find their way to the entrance. Roll call begins at 8 p.m.
Alvaro Leon. Okay, buddy, go ahead in.
It's none of my business. I don't know why some of these people are on the streets. We try not to delve into that.
Haven't seen you in a while. Been all right?
The range could be anything. Some of these guys have been homeless for years.
Chris Arias.
There's guys I meet that are totally in fear. Could be their first week on the street.
Kenneth Randolph.
And they just have no clue where to go, what to do. I've seen guys check in tears.
These are all new guys?
They're all in need.
Okay.
Some kind of need or another.
Johnny Angel. Johnny.
As they enter, each man finds a cot. The hot meal is ready. Volunteers and staff are there to serve.
It's a safe, warm environment to get off the streets. Just a place of hospitality. To get a nice meal before they go to bed every night, and they can close their eyes and know that they're going to get a good night's sleep here.
On the street, for each of these men, it's a different story.
Cold, damp, dangerous. It's hard to get any rest.
James is 52 years old. He says he's been homeless for 6 months.
Always have to be hyper vigilant. A lot of people being attacked in their sleep and robbed. I was robbed just the other day. They stole all my clothes, my double bag, all my clothes, and walked off. Start over.
Been about a year and a half almost being homeless that I got laid off, and I'm up in my age already, just turned 59. and I'm trying to find work, and you know, it's been kind of discouraging because you know, a lot of people really ain't hiring. There ain't big companies here like there were way back in the day.
I have seizures, I fall down and hit my head.
David is 51. He says he's been living without a home for many years.
It's just really cold, and there's a lot of what you call bushwhackers, and they're out there in the middle of the night with flashlights, and they check everywhere. But when they do that to you, and it's cold outside, and you want to get some sleep, and you find out you don't have no blanket or nothing, then you know it's good that there's a place like this to go to.
It's like an oldie station, but it's nice, it's mellow, it's smooth. And it goes back to that thing I was talking about before, about the hospitality.
Once you get yourself homeless, you got to get out there and find your place to stay, And this was open-armed. Matter of fact, I felt so comfortable here. I went to church Sunday. And I didn't get all dressed up. I just went to church.
While Sacred Heart is an active church, there is no preaching or proselytizing here. Their purpose is clear.
Keep guys from freezing. And this is the crisis center where anyone can come, and minimum requirements, we just want to keep people alive.
Father Jim Hobart is pastor of Sacred Heart Church.
We don't want to get the idea that we have to come here, you have to go to a church service, you have to hear a sermon, you have to do that. We just need a place where people are protected from the elements. One night I went to one of the AA meetings they had here, to just shake hands, say welcome, and thanks for being here, and great to be a service. So we're just happy to be able to meet human needs. Is what we're trying to do. It's a privilege that we can do this here. So.
And then whoever else
Zawadzki recognizes the challenges these men face.
How do you go for a job? Forget a maitre d', how do you go for a dishwashing job? When you have no place to take a shower, you have no place to change your clothes. You don't even have any clothes to change if you had them. People say, well, they need to pull themselves up by the bootstraps and then move on with their life. And it's not that easy. There was a time back in my 20s that I wound up, through my own fault, I wound up homeless. It's hard to get your dignity back. And it's hard if someone isn't there to help you. And that's how people make it, is by just another guy sticking out his hand. But when it's 20 degrees out and it's raining.
Carl, he's really the heart and soul of the operation. He wanted to make it not just a warehouse, but a real home for guys.
Never run a prison.
Lights go out at 10 p.m.
All right, guys, lights out. Good night.
Sure. Good night. Have a good one, okay?
And then everybody just gets their rest. And some guys are knocked out already. It's a hard day. It's a hard day out there. So some guys, right after they eat dinner, they just lay down and go to sleep and get ready to get up and hit it again tomorrow. And for the most part, we got some happy guests. They're never going to get 100% happy. I bet you they don't have that at the Waldorf Astoria. Not everybody is happy. People complain there too.
As they settle in for the night, there are thoughts of tomorrow.
But sometimes it's kind of hard to sleep and thinking about what you're going to do the next day, where you're going to go, what you're going to do. It's like, I kind of wonder, there's a lot of guys out there, like, where do they all go, man, It's a lonely life, it's like, I get sad, because I see them like that. And it kind of like, it hurts,
When the lights come back on in the morning, they rise, they get hot coffee, a light breakfast, and a sack lunch to take with them.
Many people have helped very, very generously so far, and people on the outside can help, with their generosity. The city needs a place like this. This might be the place.
The St. Francis Winter Shelter, located at Sacred Heart Parish on East Fort Lowell, began welcoming guests again on December 15th. Doors open at 8 p.m. The shelter will operate through the end of February, and donations of clothing, cots, coffee, creamer, and sugar are welcome. The night sky has been fascinating humankind since the beginning of time, looking to the heavens, trying to figure out and understand who we are and our place among the vast collection of stars and planets. Throughout his life, astrophotographer Michael Wiesner has fixed his gaze and his camera on the dark skies above. Now he seeks to show others what's up there.
There's a connection to the night sky that those city dwellers don't really appreciate, and it's hard to describe. Back when I was like 6 years old, early 1950s, my older brother Paul took me out in the backyard and showed me the night sky. That's where I fell in love with astronomy. I'm Mike Wiesner. I live in Oracle, Arizona. I'm an amateur astronomer and have been for many, many decades. And I certainly enjoy the opportunities to participate in the things in the night sky. This is my man cave. A lot of astronomy books are in here. You'll see lots of various pictures and other space-related paraphernalia in here, as well as some of my flying stuff from when I was flying in the Air Force. Well, I was a teenager back in southern Indiana. My mother gave me a telescope for Christmas in '61, and pretty quickly I decided I wanted to take pictures through this telescope. So I used her little roll film cameras and mounted it up on the telescope and started taking pictures of the moon and what I could of some planets and things with that simple little telescope. So it's been my passion for a long, 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 long time. From a dark sky location like Oracle, you can actually see quite a bit of detail just by looking up with your eye. This photograph is one of the ones I like to do. Here's my telescope, obviously, but the telescope is actually looking at the moon. And the moon's image is being projected out of its eyepiece onto the dome of the observatory. I have fun taking those kinds of pictures. I document things that I see in the telescope for several reasons. Primary is because I want to share that with people and let them see kinds of the types of things they could see if they were to look through a telescope, theirs or mine. But I also want to share the fact that they can also do those kinds of pictures. So the fact that I'm doing it with very basic equipment should let them know that they can do the same thing. What star in the sky is brighter than Sirius?
There aren't any. Not visually. Well, okay.
But I teach this course, Beginner Digital Astrophotography, out at the park. And I show people how they can use the equipment that they have to take pictures of the night sky, whether it's with their digital camera or with their smartphones.
Oh yeah, now I see it. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
It's a little moon, yeah. I didn't realize how many things there were up in the sky till I got down here, because up in Oregon, unless we're over in the desert in eastern Oregon, you can't really see things. But here you can see the Milky Way. I used to see that when I was a kid. I haven't seen it for decades.
By the early 2000s, I'd made the switch totally over to using digital cameras of various models. But I'm also using an iPhone for a lot of my astrophotography. So if you have a smartphone, you can do some of these same kinds of pictures. You can actually mount this on a tripod by taking this piece off. And so this little piece right here up would mount on a tripod, kind of like that. The camera of the iPhone sees what your eye would see if you were looking through the telescope with just your eye. So you're taking a picture of what you would see. The objects in the night sky are beautiful to look at, and being able to capture pictures and show those to your friends, say, hey, I took this picture, is kind of neat. So I want people in the audience and people out in the community to be able to have that same kind of joy that I've got. If it's clear, I am usually in the observatory. day and night. I do stuff with the sun in the daytime occasionally. I may be out here for 20 minutes or 8 hours, depending upon the weather. And tonight we have some clouds, so I'm not going to be out here for very long. We have a nice little crescent phase of Venus tonight. Getting this word out about our dark skies in this area and in other places around the world, it's important because people need to step back from their daily lives and go out and experience this night sky culture that's been part of the human existence for thousands and thousands and thousands of years.
Ever notice those chimes that sound every 15 minutes at the University of Arizona? Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Those aren't just any chimes, they're a method of marking time in public places around the world, a reminder that there's some place to be and that time marches on. At the U of A campus, they have a sound and a resonance unlike anywhere else.
The bell's ringing?
Dun, dun, dun. Sorry, I'm not good at singing.
Bum, 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 bum. You know, if I'm walking, I'll hear those bells.
The bells in the main administration building?
Well, it was the chimes for the clock. They tell us what time it is every 15 minutes and on the hour.
And then, you know, if you hear the right ring, oh, it's 2 o'clock or something like that. Don't even need a watch.
So this is for people without watches? It's like my grandmother's chime at, she had an old grandfather clock that had a similar chime.
Yeah, it is my doorbell at home. I've never thought about that.
Well, I guess it gives someone a job, right? The bell ringer.
Dun, dun, dun.
They're not real bells. It's a recording.
The Westminster quarters make up a pattern of notes that we hear all the time if we want to know what time it is. And it dates back to the late 18th century, when in Cambridge, England, at Great St. Mary's Church, there was a new clock, but some musicians, possibly a law professor with the help of a music professor and a music student, came up with this series of notes that we now hear to mark time all over the world. Now in 2016 at the University of Arizona, we have the same pattern of notes that we hear at Big Ben. It's called the Westminster quarters. First 4 notes that we hear, this is for 15 minutes. At 30 minutes, this is what we hear. And so what we get here at the hour is you don't have to write a complicated melody to make a melody that people are going to listen to, understand, appreciate, or get something out of. And this is a great example of that. I can imagine that at different places on the mall, you're going to get a very different impression of this tune.
The auditory experience of hearing these bells is different depending on where you happen to be listening. The mall is set up beautifully to create a lot of reflections back and forth from the north side to the south side. We picked this particular spot because we're going to make a recording with the bell sound passing by our microphone, and it's going to travel across the mall, and it will reflect off of the very flat surface of the Koffler building and come back, and we'll also then record the reflection. Before we do the next recording, I'm going to make a measurement of the distance from this recording over to the Koffler building. 6.5 feet, 3, 24, 25, 26, and the middle tile is actually bigger. That gives us 13 feet, 6, 47, 48, 49, 50. All right, so we counted 104 tiles on this sidewalk. I'm gonna log that in here, 104 feet. The other piece of information we need in order to know exactly what the speed of sound is today is the air temperature. Here at 6:07 p.m. on July 20th, 2016 is 91 degrees Fahrenheit. Last week we made recordings on the U of A Mall of the chimes that go off every quarter of an hour. I'm waiting now for Matt to come over from the music department, and I'm going to show him some of the analyses that I've done since our recording last week.
Well, I'm looking forward to talking with Brad about what he found out about the Westminster chimes and how they sound different parts of campus, and what that means for how we experience this piece that a lot of us don't even think about experiencing, but it's part of our life here at the U of A.
Hi, Matt.
Hey, Brad, how are you?
Brad Story. Good to meet you.
Good to see you.
Well, come on in. I think we're gonna.
All right.
I want to show you some data that we recorded last week. So this is a map of the U of A Mall, and the sound source is somewhere on top of the administration building. The effect that people experience, the auditory effect, is that you get extra beats that pop up and they're different depending on where you happen to be standing. So the hypothesis is that it's coming from reflections off buildings.
We like to think of music as, here's the score, these are the notes, and we analyze them, but to think that it might have this kind of origin, and that it's still being, more than 250 years later, it's still being reinvented just automatically by our environment, that these pitches are being reinvented.
You write the music, but then you launch the music into whatever environment it happens to be, and it takes on the life of that context.
I don't often go outside and think, oh, it's 5:55, I'm gonna go check out the Westminster chimes, but I think it's something I might start to do and just really say, this is part of all of our environment here.
And if you think about a typical undergraduate being here, let's just say fall and spring semester for 4 years, they're going to hear those somewhere between 15 and 20,000 times.
Yeah, unbelievable.
And so it becomes a part of every graduate's experience at the U of A.
Yeah, it's the soundtrack for their experience. And,
yes.
And it's easy to take for granted.
Right. That along with Bear Down, Arizona.
Right, exactly. This is more heard than Bear Down, Arizona. So
absolutely.
Way more.
Certainly
heard,
is.
Yeah.
Back in late January, a series of storms brought snowfall to the Arizona high country, including Mount Lemmon in the Santa Catalina Mountains just outside of Tucson. The storms were welcome, laying down a heavy blanket of snow. A rare treat for Tucsonans wanting to escape the desert floor and enjoy this glimpse of winter.
Beautiful day at Mount Lemmon. Come up here to get a couple photo shots and just play in the snow. Well, one thing is it makes the environment more quiet. It's clean and it's natural and just beautiful.
Brought the dogs out here, have them come out and play in the snow because they love snow. I'm from Florida originally. I'm just out here for work. I know it snowed here a few times, but I've never seen anything like this. I mean, this is pretty heavy snow for Tucson especially.
There's not many places you can start in the desert, come up, go skiing, go back, and be in your own bed that night.
And all week long I kept checking road conditions, and it didn't look so good until the news yesterday at 5 o'clock, and they said that they were opening half the mountain. Left downtown, Tucson, at about 9 o'clock this morning, and been here all day.
We are open. We got a lot of snow out of that last storm. I mean, a lot of snow, but we also got a lot of really, really high winds, which caused a tremendous amount of trees to come down on the runs, and also one came in contact with the lift and damaged the main lift, so we're only able to run off the smaller, lower lift.
It's not as big, there aren't as many runs, but it's snow is snow. The snow it's beautiful today. I encourage everyone to get up here early in the morning.
Good girl.
They got issues in their heads, they're crazy, they love cold weather. It makes them just do weird things, just like when it rains, you know, dogs just get crazy, it's hilarious.
We come up here about once or twice a year when it snows. We don't see it in the valley. You know, my kids never seen us, you know, so we bring them up here and you know, enjoy it. Yeah, we're playing hooky, so my boss is watching.
Look out, look out, look out, look out. Stop. I'll go again, Mama. Can I go again?
That was so awesome.
Oh my God.
You know, an hour away from town's good enough for me.
It's like a winter wonderland up here, and then 30-minute drive and you're back down in like 60-degree weather and it's beautiful.
You got running water and you can, you know, shoot people skiing. It's a great place. And it's going to be 70 degrees in Tucson early next week.
After an epic monsoon, we had a drier than normal fall, but with January right around the corner, desert dwellers are hoping for another heavy snow. And once conditions are right, Ski Valley on Mount Lemmon will be open to snowboarders and skiers alike. Fingers crossed for fresh powder. Thank you for joining us here on Arizona Illustrated. We at Arizona Public Media wish you and your family a safe, happy, and joyous New Year. And please mark your calendar and tune in Sunday, January 7th for the premiere of an all-new season of Arizona Illustrated. I'm Tom McNamara. See you then.